I'm an American standing in Moscow, Russia, believe it or not, with an Englishman.
I mean, it's very surprising to see places like this in Russia.
Englishman, where are we right now?
We're at a traditional British pub in the heart of Moscow called the Pig and Rose.
Ah, okay, British pub.
And we're going to show you what an authentic pub is, and believe it or not, here in Russia.
Wow, you hear that, guys? Welcome to EXPAT American. I am the EXPAT American. Let's find out if Russia has authentic British pubs right now.
Yeah, but look, I mean, I'm feeling pretty buzzed now, I have to say. I haven't drunk much.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Philip, say something.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
All right, Philip, so first off, what looks like England or Britain and what does not?
It looks authentic from the outside. You'd find a pub in the UK mostly in a sort of village setting, and in the cities as well. I mean, in London you find a lot up, you know, in some of the little squares you normally see quite a lot of people outside on a Friday night, you know, after work, having their sort of Friday work drinks or whatever. But
so
yeah,
in London it'll be like this. It'll be underneath the bottom floor of an office
yeah,
building, right?
there's some, you know,
and it's decorated to look like the village house you would see outside the city, where it would be more of like a home.
Of course.
Like a big public house.
You know, of course, a pub is a public house for, you know, the servants back in the day, to where you know the paupers went to hang out and drink, and that's obviously developed over time. And now it's the city boys are there on a Friday night drinking in London. But look, you get pubs in a lot of places around the world that try to have this British theme, because no one does it quite like the British.
And I see it says Pig and Rose in English, and they also have the Russian translation, Sveninya I Rosa, kind of like a not wealthy style on purpose, like an average style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got the nice flowers. It looks stereotypical to me in a good way as an American. What's with the pig?
You get a lot of pork in pubs, you'll see in a minute. There's a few pubs I know of in the UK called the Pig and Rose, so it does exist.
So this is not a pagan symbol?
No.
Okay, cool.
Do you have pubs in America?
Yeah. But it's like American diners in a way where it is kind of themed dining. It's not like standard. But if you find it, it's trying to look like a little bit of Britain in America, which is what it looks like.
It's the British and the Irish are sort of the two places that tend to do pubs very well.
So Philip, how does the inside look?
Pubs in the UK come in all different shapes and sizes, right? It's not like there's one pub, and often I'll be in a village in the UK and I'll go into a few pubs and see which one I actually like. And when I think English pub, I think, you know, a winter's day sat by a real fire, you know, that warm homely feel, some nice homemade pub grub, you know, food. You know, I'm not a massive pub fan, you know, I'll be honest. I'm not someone to sort of go there to get pissed on a Friday night. But, you know, they can be nice. You know, good pubs can be nice at the weekend to go and chill with your friends, with your family, have a nice meal.
So you tell me, Philip, I don't think it's not normal for me to go to the bar to order my food. But this is standard for a British pub?
You have different levels of pub. I mean, some try and be a bit posh, or some will have a restaurant area in them that has more of a restaurant vibe and a waiter, for example. But in a traditional pub, in a traditional like pub area, you'd always order at the bar.
Ah, okay, cool.
Always.
All right, so this is more authentic then.
It's definitely authentic, yeah.
So more pig imagery on the wall, and as an American, I would say to me this looks authentic. Charles Dickens type vibes, the rough wood, and it's intentionally not super fancy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, you can tell it's new.
But it's
designed
made to look old-fashioned. Yeah, exactly.
You know, you go to some pubs in Britain, it's old because it's old. Right. You know, like you can tell it's been there for 100 years. It's a thing, right? But you're not going to get that in Russia, right? Because, you know, this is the modern day, you know, post-Soviet era. But then you have to look at how authentic are they making that experience for you. Now, look, I know there's one or two places that are owned by British people that are probably going to be more authentic than others because they're British, so they're bringing that over. Some places they try a bit more or try a bit harder than others. But so far, I mean, this is authentic, you know, proper pint glasses, proper cold you know, cold refreshing lagers. We'll see what the food's like when it comes in a minute, but they've got a typical British menu, you know, bangers and mash, fish and chips.
The glass looks like the right shape.
Yeah, this is what you would get. A lot of the times there'd be associations with the brewery as well, so whatever brewery is linked to the pub, the sort of name will be kind of designed around.
So it advertises the brewery, the beer that they're selling.
Yeah, well, there's a few breweries in the UK that kind of have a monopoly on a lot of the public houses. So again, I don't want to get this wrong, but from what I know, my understanding is the landlord kind of like leases the rights to operate the pub, or they have some kind of licensing agreement with individual breweries for a period of time. So they might lease or buy the sort of management license for 25 years or 50 years or 25 renewable, whatever it is. Obviously here it's not like that. Here it's just going to be, you know, a private owner.
If you had amnesia and you woke up here, you would think you're in Britain.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Russian that I see
other
on the
than some
menu.
Russian words, it seems for real.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's back in the day, I mean, probably a few years ago, you'd hear a few more expats around. You know, I know that there's one or two places in Moscow that all the expats seem to hang out. I mean,
you mean before the SMO?
Yeah, I mean, even now, I mean, there's one or two pubs you can actually go on a Friday, Saturday night and actually meet. You know, you wouldn't be speaking Russian, you'll be speaking English. It still happens. There's still groups of us left. Yeah,
Anglo-Saxons infesting Moscow.
Yeah, exactly.
Here is our pub food. Bangers and mash is what it's called. Sausage and mashed potatoes. Correct, Philip?
Absolutely right, yeah.
Philip, take your fork and take away one of my sausages. Let's see what it tastes like. Philip and I are doing two videos, one on my channel, one on his, so in case you see something that you're confused about, you'll have to go over to his channel to find out the rest of the story.
So, let's have a look.
Very tasty. The sausage is good, man. What's this sauce? Like ketchup? No, it's lighter than ketchup. It's like some sort of British salsa.
It's not ketchup, is it?
So does this seem authentic to you, Philip?
I'm going to say something very controversial now. I'm not a massive fan of the sausage.
Tastes great to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're an American.
But is it authentic?
I think
because that might be a separate question.
Well, look, no, this is the thing. It's nice or authentic. Look, when it comes to, I think this is probably why I'm going to say this, because the British know their sausages. Right, we basically invented the sausage, right? You know, the farmers market, the sausages.
Not Germans.
No, yeah, okay. No. If you want a curry burst or whatever rubbish they give you in Munich, fine. You know, I'm not.
You hear that, guys? I know I have a lot of British viewers.
The Germans invented fake sausages. You know.
Oh, wow.
We have authentic.
Keep going.
You know, farm to mouth. You know, produced on the farm. When I think British sausage, I think, you know, farmers markets that you go to early on a weekend. You get your pork and leek. You get caramelised onions in them. You know, proper Cumberland, thick, meaty, tasty sausages. Now look, this isn't it. I have to say, it's the best sausage I've had in Russia so far. And I've not really looked for sausages in Russia. I haven't hunted for them much. It definitely doesn't taste like fake or anything like that. You know, some of the German ones, they're just horrible. These like Frankfurt sausages or whatever, like just rubbery crap. You know, these are not that. You know, these are, you know, very flavoursome. They break apart pretty much in your mouth. They're a nice sausage, but being a British guy here in Russia, I can tell that these are not. They're not flown in from a farm in the north of England, if you know what.
No, I know what you mean, and I agree. Like in America or in Russia, if I order a sausage, 80% of the time it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. The idea of the sausage is better than the sausage itself, I would say.
But you've been to the UK and had, I assume you've had a full English breakfast in the UK or whatever. You know what I'm talking about when I'm telling you this. And I've not had a good sausage in the States either. And most places I travel to, you know, for example, in England, you know, a fry-up, an English breakfast is a traditional sort of like breakfast thing. You shouldn't eat it all the time, you get extremely fat, but it is a traditional dish, right? You come to Russia, there's so many restaurants where they say English breakfast, you know, I don't know, just to look cool or whatever, but you will never find, or I haven't found yet, an English breakfast that has traditional pork and meat sausages. You know, all of the proper stuff that you get in the UK. Although it's called an English breakfast, it tastes like there's something up with it. Now, I'm not saying it's horrible. Would I come here and order it if I was missing the UK a little bit? Maybe, if I can't find an alternative or I can't find something different. I did hear there was a British guy here, and I was talking to him the other week, I forget his name now. There's a British guy that had an authentic sausage company where he actually imported British sausages here to Moscow, probably when there was a few more foreigners here that wanted that stuff. And you know, I've lived in a lot of places. You know, I've lived in Asia. I've lived in Dubai. You know, whenever I've wanted like a bit more of the UK or wanted a British sausage or whatever, I haven't been able to find it. There's always been something that's not, you know, 100%, and I've been like, oh, why don't they just import them or whatever? You know, you can easily freeze it for a few days and bring it over, and there you go, you'd have an English sausage. But I haven't found it yet. It's probably a Russian sausage from somewhere. But guys, it's not bad. You know, it's not horrible. It's nice. I'm eating it. You know, how's the
I'm
mash?
only an American. I think it's wonderful. So we have the mash part of the bangers. This is like mashed potatoes with, I guess, onion sprinkles, dried onion sprinkles on it. Yeah, go for it, Philip. To me, it tastes great. It's like, I can taste the butter in it. What do you think?
I think the mash is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more authentic than the sausage.
I'm not saying the sausages aren't authentic.
Right, but there's a butt to the sausage. Is there a butt to the mashed potatoes?
No, I think mash is mash though, right? Cool. It's like, I don't think mash varies too much from
Now, what about this coleslaw? Would you call it coleslaw?
That's coleslaw, yeah. I'm not a massive fan of coleslaw. I know you typically have it in a burger or something, probably, don't you? I think in the diner we went to, I think they serve that.
I'm also not a fan of coleslaw, but it is popular in America, especially in the South where I'm from. And this tastes a bit too fancy. It's nice. I think people who like coleslaw would like it.
Right.
I'd rather eat the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm still eating the sausage. You know, going to Germany, I don't really like the German sausages. I just think it's just fake rubbish. I'm very particular with sausages. I do like them. You know, my wife has a go at me all the time, and when I go back to the UK and I eat a full English breakfast, she can't stand it. Thinks it's disgusting. You know, why would someone possibly eat fried food? You know, sausages, hash browns, fried bread, black pudding, you know, in the morning at 8 a.m.
So what's the difference between a bar and a pub?
I mean, I would say a pub is a bit more run down, probably more of a place that you'd start your night. You know, pubs tend to close a bit earlier, so 11:30. You know, a typical pub in the UK would have a bell. So it's like a last orders bell. So you hear it, ding, ding, ding. You'd know that you have to go and order your last beer or whatever. And then you've got about 30 minutes or so, maybe sometimes an hour, to drink up before you have to leave. A bar is normally open a bit later, so probably till about 2 in the morning. So you would sort of start your night in a pub, then you'd move on to something like a bar. Then if you're really adventurous, you might then go to a club that's open till 5 or 6 in the morning. So that's kind of how I used to, not that I go out clubbing anymore really, but that's how I used to sort of plan my nights from sort of start to finish. Yeah, but I mean, I'm feeling pretty buzzed now. I have to say, I haven't drunk much. I haven't drunk much in about 9 months because me and my wife had a rule, because she's obviously been pregnant. We've just given birth to our first child.
Congratulations.
A daughter, thank you very much. And there's certain things she couldn't do. So she couldn't drink, she couldn't eat raw fish, so that was sushi just out the window. So we sort of had a rule between us. I'm not allowed to drink either, I'm not allowed to eat sushi either. So now, I'm just so glad that I can actually start having some of the enjoyment in life once again, you know. So here we are.
Thanks to your American friend. So tell us, I want you to pass judgment on this place now. Is it authentic?
It's semi-authentic. I mean, you know, you heard what I said about the sausages. Yeah, maybe not 100% authentic. You can tell it's not a pub that's 100 years old that you might find back in the UK, because obviously Moscow didn't have pubs 100 years ago. It's designed to look old, it's designed to look authentic, it's designed to look like a typical English pub. Whether or not they've been there and they've done all of the market research, I don't know. They probably don't import from the UK, which, I don't know, maybe they can't now because of sanctions or whatever else. But look, it's semi-authentic. I'll give it probably a 7 out of 10. I would come back. I have to say, I would come back. I've enjoyed my experience here. I think the prices are super reasonable. You know, $10 for a dish. But I don't know how much the beer costs, but probably what, 4 or 5 dollars. You could go there for a casual lunch, a casual dinner. I would be back. There's other places to try, but if you're in town and you want to try something kind of authentic and you miss the UK or wherever a little bit, come and try out the pig and roast. So they're not sponsoring us, by the way, but you know, just for the channel. But
you look relaxed.
I'm very relaxed.
Can I push you over?
No, I'm not quite. I've already had a pint. Maybe after we have champagne on my video on the final $100 dish, but we'll see.
Now that we're done with this place, this wonderful British pub, we're gonna walk on over to his channel, where we're not gonna go to just one place, but 6 places to eat, believe it or not. So, like and subscribe, and then head over to Philip's channel to see me with him, where we'll have even more fun.
I didn't know you could actually spend $100 on a burger in Moscow, to be honest. I did my research for this video and found you actually could, and it's something that's mixing that sort of like American burger vibe with something that's quintessentially Russia. So find out on my channel now, and you'll see how you can dine for $1 or $100, depending on your budget.
Nice.
But very interesting. So let's see what we can find out.
All right, click the share button, send this video to your friends, and then click the box to see what happens next on Philip's channel. All right, Philip, come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. All right. Okay. That's a skateboarder. He needs to be on camera.
On the table, Philip. Be a real man.